All right, we are live.
All right, no problem. Wow, it's a great day and a great privilege to be here this evening. So I officially welcome you all to our monthly webinar. Yes, and in case you are wondering where you are, this is a reminder to tell you this is Fish Lead Up Initiative, the initiative that encourages students to do more in the fisheries sector and also improve well in the fisheries and aquaculture sector. And also, we are here not just for numbers but as well for the impact. So we are here as usual again for our webinar this evening. And this evening we have someone special among us, the person of the field and the person in the field. So but briefly, I want to open the floor to with me. Sorry, I did not do the introduction. We have our team lead here in the person of Mr. Okay Ojo Pelumi. Good evening, sir. We are very happy to have you on board, sir.
Yeah, good evening, ma. It's great being here.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you very much. Please, our members, please do well to call in your friends, your classmates, or anybody that is interested in fisheries and aquaculture. That Fish Lead Up is here with our monthly webinar, and we are here for you. So, in 1 or 2 minutes, let's quickly do that. Checking on your friends, your fellow classmates, tell them that we are live and we are not waiting for anybody. So, let's do that in the next 2 minutes. Right. Better. All right, so without wasting most of our time this evening, let's go straight into the today's business. And before we go into the webinar of today, I want to say this that first off, I will encourage each and every one of us to have our writing materials with us because we are not computer to memorize all. I have mine. This is my pen. If you can see me, this is my pen and this is my notes. So I came prepared. So you also should be prepared because every point is important. At this moment, every word that is going to be coming out from our speaker, it is very important to us. So you don't want to miss a point at anyone. Please let me know in the comment section if you are with me. Please, if you've joined us live, let's know in the comment section, in the chat box. Just signify that you are with us here. So we know we are communicating on the same page.
Okay. Yeah. I want to be sure that place is
Yes.
working.
So it won't be as if we are just talking to ourselves.
Yeah.
Please, if you've joined us live, signify in the chat box by saying, I am here and I am ready for today. Signify in the chat box. All right, I'm seeing 3 responses here. Can we get 2 more? Because eh, I'm looking waiting for one. Signify in the chat box by saying I am here and I am ready for today. Mighty One, I cite you, my Lower Pelumi. I can see you are here. Miss Eunice Sebunluwa, thank you for joining us. Ayeni Blessing, we are also ready for you today. John Ifelojo, yes, you are seen. All right, thank you very much. As I've said earlier, please make sure you have your writing materials closer to you because every word counts and every moment counts. Please, if possible, pen down everything that you are doing and so you can have an undivided attention for this webinar. Please, you don't want to miss any section from those parts. Yes. All right, so today's webinar we'll be talking on relationship vision and the African aquaculture system. The
Development.
relationship vision. Okay. The relationship vision of aquaculture development. Thank you very much, Sha. So without wasting much of our time, we have our speaker here already with us on stage. Yes, in the person of Mr. Femi Dairo, the founder of Read Labs. Yeah, I'll be reading his bio. Femi Dairo is an advancing Africa's animal health landscape. One diagnosis, one farmer, and one data point at a time. As the founder of Read Labs, he leads a youthful purpose-driven team pioneering smarter aquaculture health, fish disease diagnostics, and AMR control through data, innovation, and farmer-centered solutions. With over 12 years of combined experience in aquaculture health, aquaculture and poultry extension services, fish and livestock disease diagnosis, business development and animal feed sales. Femi's work bridges animal science, business intelligence and One Health, empowering farmer and young professionals to make informed and profitable decisions within the blue economy. At Read Labs, through initiative like Project Dara, All Farmers Business Meeting, that is AFBM, Animals Health and Wellness Scheme, AHS, Fish Health and Management Support Program, FSP, and the Youth Agripreneurs Program, YAP. Femi is raising a new generation of data-driven, sustainable agripreneurs across Africa, starting from Nigeria. Femi Dairo's mission is to make diagnosis before treatment, that is DB40, a culture, decli- decelerating antimicrobial resistance, empowering farmers with relevant data, and securing healthier future for animals, people, and the planet. So you should know that Mr. Femi is not just an ordinary person, but he's coming with the knowledge from aquaculture, agriculture, and also business intelligence. So we will make welcome Mr. Femi Dairo. Hello, Mr. Femi Dairo. Good evening, sir.
Yes, good to have you. Thank you for having me, Eniola. Am
Yes,
I
sir.
correct? Is that
We are
Eniola?
so pleased to have you, sir, and to
Okay.
receive from you this evening.
Okay, Eniola, thank you
So
so
you
much
have a
for
lot of
having
time.
me.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, so my name is Femi Dairo, and I usually fondly say, I say there is only one Femi Dairo in Lagos. Okay, I'm starting very briefly, and I hope that each and every one of us listening in on YouTube, on LinkedIn right now, would also be able to gain a few things from my experience and some of the suggestions. It's going to be some suggestions drawn from the experience on the field, and I hope that it will give you some level of direction. Right. Okay. So I'll be running you through relationships, vision, and the African aquaculture development. I mean, showing you a couple of things that I personally have seen and I feel that is going to be beneficial to the industry, especially across Africa. Meeting with some Africans, doing stuff in Kenya, in Uganda, in Senegal and some other African country in Ghana. So I feel that this would also help a couple of us to gain direction on what we're supposed to be doing for the industry. Right. Okay. So I have an introductory quote here. A nation that cannot feed itself is not sovereign. And aquaculture is not
Hmm.
just fish farming. It's a critical pillar of food security, youth employment, and sustainable rural development in Africa. Um, if you look at the topic of today is about relationship and vision, and how that together can strengthen African aquaculture development. And this is basic for us. And young people are the center of this drive and these interventions. Um, First, the power of vision. As we all know, I mean, people use their eyes to see, right? Not all eyes that see have a vision. There is a difference between seeing and looking. While many are still looking, others are seeing. Uh, Vision fuels direction. If you cannot go in the direction that you are not focused on, I mean that if you are going to Lagos, you cannot face Ghana. If you are going to Ghana, you cannot face Lagos, right? And so this is also very fundamental, and I want you to pay attention to the fundamentals of this session. Your degree is not the end; it's a launch pad. I've seen people who have not studied aquaculture and fisheries running their business in the industry, and those are investors, and many of which have not employed professionals most of the time. And so some of the reasons why we have the industry relatively stagnated is because of this. You cannot overemphasize the need for professionals in the industry. In a broken industry, visionaries and professionals see opportunities, not defeat. Um, then the question is, what impact do you want to have in African aquaculture in the next 5 years? What do you intend to do as young persons, as professionals? Some of us are mid-level career guys in the industry already. Some of us have about 10 years experience. Some have five. Are you counting the experience or you are counting the impact? Are you counting the number of years or you are counting the number of interventions you have been on? And so these are basics and fundamentals for the industry. And why relationship matters. For my journey, and this is particularly to me, and I think it is applicable for a lot of young people across Africa and many part of Nigeria, West Africa. Um, you would need to build relationship with the people you are going to be working with in the future. Some of us have not been able to do this, and I'd share a couple of stories that would also help us to be able to drive this. You have to build relationship with farmers. I mean, for us, I've built relationship with farmers for, if I'm not exaggerating, it will be about 12 years now. Because I started very early. I started when I was in the university. That turning point for me was during my internship in Ibadan. And I set up a couple of fish hatcheries in Ibadan. I mean, at that time, it was backyard hatcheries, developed some water flow through systems. As an aquaculture student, you have to have it's a multidisciplinary approach you have to take to it. Developing a couple of hatchery systems in Nigeria. Then you have to build relationship with researchers. I mean, I've worked with a couple of researchers in Nigeria to be able to develop something, some form of project. Some of them worked with us, and I mean, when I left, I've also worked with some non-profits at some point, working in the natural resource sector that has helped also shaped the way I look at problems, and this is also very important. And then I built relationship with feed companies, feed manufacturers in Nigeria. I've worked with a couple, and this has also shaped how I view animal nutrition. And I've also seen it from the extension side of it, and how that extension is a very, very important component of aquaculture development in Africa. You need to build people who understand the real issues, the real challenges. And then also build relationship with input suppliers, maybe some of other input apart from feeds that we use in the industry, water quality, because some of the things you use to modulate your water quality. And this one is before I go to regulators, let me quickly talk about what you would do with tech innovators. I've worked on some business development support services for some tech-based businesses. Many of them did not work in agriculture because agriculture today is still not very attractive to a lot of people, and it is because of the missing links around the numbers. It's not so much of a predictable business today because the numbers are missing. Then working with regulators, like I used to say, you have to build relationship with the people who are making decisions in your industry. And so for me, for the past couple of months, say years, I've built, tried to interact with government, and like I always say, you can't fight government if you want to make headway. You have to work with government to be able to get things done. Relationship opens doors. Technical skills give you the seat, right? I mean, people will see you as a sound person, you understand the issues, but relationship keeps you in the room. By and large, no matter how sound you are, no matter how intelligent you are, you have to build relationship with people that can get you to where you're going. And it is basic for all of us to be able to have a headway in the industry. So let me give you an idea of the current state of African aquaculture and some of, I mean, this is just a few of it. There are a lot of problems. Largely informal today in Africa and poorly coordinated. So in Africa now, especially in Nigeria where I live, aquaculture production is largely informal and very, very poorly coordinated. We are working a lot with farmers association, with government, with ministries, departments, and agencies across board to be able to drive. But I mean, one of us, a few of us cannot really drive. We need a workforce of people who are coordinated, who have a strong relationship together. I mean, that can drive the industry. Most farm operate by retirees and non-professionals. I think that this is also very common to a lot of people, right? It's common to a lot of nations in Africa. I've seen a couple of them. The businesses are run by non-professionals, and the reason is not far-fetched. The farmer is not making enough money to hire a professional to work with them, and that is because the farmer is not hiring professional. Not hiring a professional also means that the right revenues to be generated, the technical know-how to drive the business profitably will not be there. And so these are some of the issues. We have a very poor diagnosis culture, and disease outbreaks are common. In livestock farming, in agriculture generally, in crop farming, you talk about post-harvest losses. But in animal farming, the real deal is actually pre-harvest losses during the production. And these are the critical challenges that we face in the industry. Feed cost is high and profit margins are low. In most part of Africa, feed price is relatively the same. Relatively the same. I mean, I'm talking about the feed price against the market price of the fish. And so we have a lot of lacuna here and there around um, having good margins on the business. And so yet Africa remains the largest producer of catfish globally. Despite the fact that these challenges exist, we have a greater potential. I mean, we have good water bodies rich in the necessary minerals and nutrients required to raise quality fish. But the chances are that if we don't have young people come into the business to drive aquaculture as a business, approach it with a value driven industry, we may not be able to have such headways. In Africa, we have Egypt being the largest producer of tilapia in Africa, right? And then in West Africa, I think Ghana is doing the most. And that's also one of the potentials we have. In Nigeria, we have very sound, I mean, correct knowledge around catfish production. In Ghana, is strong, and in Egypt, is stronger. And it's not far fetched because of the competitive advantage. Each country has its own advantage around uh, those species, and that's for us. And so, some catfish farmers in Nigeria are still struggling with tilapia farming, while in Ghana, the tilapia farmers are struggling with catfish farming. I mean, right. So industry needs. I'm going to eat it very fast so that we can move on very quickly. We are in need of professionals who understand biosecurity, fish health, water quality, carrying capacity of the system that we have, and sustainable feeding. And if you are a young person on this team, these are areas of pain and setbacks the industry is having today. Biosecurity is an issue, fish health management is an issue, and you know what water quality can do when it comes to fish production. You can't really take out fish production, you can't take it away, you can't take water quality, good water quality away from fish production. By and large, basically, what really happens is that if you know how to modulate your water very well, you have a very successful fish farming in terms of growth performance, disease resistance, or ensuring that you also have a proper biosecurity measure. Carrying capacity also is about the issue of is viewed from the angle of what is your target harvest size, and that will determine how you organize your production. And then feeding is, I mean, like I always say, cheap feed is not always the best because the raw materials that are used for the feeds are, if you want a good one and a quality one, you really need to spend the money. And many of the manufacturers usually pay a down payment for these raw materials. And someone who pays down payment for raw materials will definitely not sell at a giveaway. We're in need of entrepreneurs to drive value added processing, input innovations, and logistics. The architecture of the industry, the aquaculture industry in Nigeria and other part of African countries is such that there are still a lot of problems, and we have opportunities that we can tap into processing facilities, innovation around new products like fish fillets, like bone meal, oils from the fish. I mean, there shouldn't be any waste whatsoever in the value chain. And input innovators, we need people who can give. I mean, from the nutrition side, I was discussing with okay yesterday around nutrigenomics, how that you can use your feed to modulate the health of the animal, and how that feed must be very good for water quality management. You know, when you start feeding certain raw materials to the fish, the byproducts or the fecal discharge that you get also pollute the water and makes the water unbearable for your fish to stay. So those are issues. And I hope that I'm talking to professionals on this platform, right? And if you're not a professional, this is also going to be something that you can familiarize with. I think the terms are not, I've not used any industry jargon per se, right? Skilled service providers. You know, I mentioned something about extension services. It's a major requirement for the industry to progress. But what level of training would these people have to say a farmer who has been in the business for many years and you, a young graduate who just came out of the business, out into the business, how do you encourage, how do you apply this knowledge to these farmers? And if a farmer is telling you, I've been in this business before you left the university, how come you are now going to tell me how to do this business? And that's usually the case. But as soon as the farmer sees that there are certain things you know and understand, and they have been able to apply on the farm or in the business that is working, then they can trust you. And that's how to earn trust. So we need skill services in diagnostics. When we started the lab, we struggled with a lot of skilled labor. And so for us, we usually, and thanks to some of our partners like Wish, we had support from them to be able to also train some of our team members to be able to deliver the best they can on the result. So we need more partners like that to be able to also drive the industry. Extension services, diagnostics, and archery support. The industry is such that it is science driven. Animal farming is science, and if you don't have this scientific understanding, if you are doing well in business, you will need such information to be able to drive your business. So I'll also share on the untapped opportunities. As you can see on my screen, you have fish health services. We have taken one of it that for the past 12 years, I found it as a lacuna in the industry. Fish health, I mean, this is different from livestock diagnostics. It's quite different. The blood of the fish is nucleated. That alone makes a lot of difference. And when you are approaching the disease cases, you approach it as such. Because fish does not live in isolation of the water, a good understanding of the water, the biology of the fish is needed to have a successful fish health services, and also the understanding of the cases. You really cannot say, you cannot rule out the fact that you need experience, and the cases has to come, and that's major. For some part of Africa where you raise tilapia, vaccination is already in force. For the tilapia lake virus disease, you have to also know Eromonas vaccines are also existing in other countries, and Eromona is one of the disease that is common with fish globally, and so we have seen a couple of them in our water bodies, in our fish samples here at the lab, and so we need guys to come into the labs and diagnostics, and that's also it's very major for the industry. We need more veterinary laboratories in Africa. The architecture of veterinary labs, fish health labs in particular, is weak. And we need quality feed producers, nutritionally sound and cost effective. I mean, like I always say, cost benefit analysis is always very important. Um, it's not really about cheaper feeds. It's about more efficient feed. What is the value or the cost of the FCR you are getting on the farm? And apart from just FCR, what is the quality of nutrient that you are supplying? And in many part of Africa, especially in Nigeria, you would have farmers focus basically on weight gain, and that's not all there is to fish farming. What about the quality of the flesh of the fish muscle that you have? And is major for us as well. When you talk about weight gain, you should also talk about the nutrient retained in the flesh or in the muscle of the fish that can benefit the consumer. So, and that's also then we need cold chain logistics and market linkages. So there is a very weak architecture around marketing of fish in Nigeria and some other part of the nation. We have middlemen driving a lot of the sales, and which leaves the farmers with no idea or no clue of where the fish is going to. And when you are doing a business and you don't understand who is actually consuming the product, designing an appropriate product or producing to specification will be very difficult. And so one of the things we are doing at the lab now is that we have set up a YAP program that we use to empower young people for them to approach the business of animal farming or fish farming from the position of the market. What does the market want? What size? How often? When should you produce? When should you stock? How do you modulate your production system to be able to deliver on the timelines of the requirement of the market? And that's basic. We need digital guys. So I mean, I'm having a conversation with some young people in this space. Some aquaculture students also have knowledge of programming, software development, and all of that. And that's also basic. We need guys who can develop system that has smart feeding, that can monitor. I talked about this to some of my interns. I said, look, who says we cannot have sensors in the pond to assess water quality, the diurnal changes that comes with water quality variations on the farm. And that information alone can help you to understand when to feed, what quantity to feed per time if you have this data. You are going to be seeing a lot of that in a couple of months. And this is one of the drive that we have in Nigeria. And we're also looking at working with some young people across Africa to be able to deliver on this. Alternative protein production for feeds. There are a lot of alternatives, but then we need to work with alternative that will modulate water properly and give the required amino acids, the essential amino acid that your fish would need to grow within the stipulated time. I mean, it's a business of time. There are points that you start raising your fish and you start losing money. And so we need data in such area to be able to say, okay, if you raise fish beyond this age or beyond this size, you're going to start losing money. What happens? When do you start modulating? What is the necessity to change water at this point? For example, I would say that um, in Nigeria now, farmers still change water in their ponds daily. Some change every other day. Majority of farmers change water daily because as soon as water looks bad, they want to change it. And because in Nigeria, especially in Lagos, most farmers in Lagos culture in surface ponds, tarpaulin, plastics, and concrete. Just a few farmers use Atin Pond in Lagos. And on the other hand, in other parts in the states, some neighboring states in Nigeria, you have more of Atin Ponds than surface. And so that affects the decisions that farmers make on their farm. And many of the times, decisions are not technically correct or technically sound for an optimum production. And then we need actually a nursery business for quality juveniles. A lot of professionals are not in the business, so selective breeding is not the order of the day. A lot of times, the hatchery operators, um, the premises or the prerequisites for selecting brooders is also missing. And let me also add this, that in Nigeria, um, brooder feed is also missing. How many of you have seen broodstock feed in the market for those who are Nigerians and some other African countries? So we are working very closely with some feed millers in Nigeria now to hit that into the market, and you will see a lot of it coming to the market in the coming months. And you will say I said it right. Okay. So I mean, youth-driven aquaculture is the missing piece. Actually, it's the missing piece. Only 15% of aquaculture businesses are led by youths, and that's this data is about. It's from our survey the survey we did in Nigeria. So this, I mean, Nigeria. When you want to talk about stuffs in Africa, you talk about the entrepreneurship spirit. You get a lot of that from Nigerians, and that's in respect with respect to other African countries. But when you can use Nigeria as a model of what happens in other part of the African continent. So um, we need more young people to come into the business, and so we are driving a lot of it to ensure that we encourage more young people into the business. But the first thing we are doing is to first show the numbers, the possibilities, the area of need, and show that the business is a profitable one. I mean, young people want to drive big cars, they want to live in good houses. And how, where else would you get it? People who sell food, what people consume daily, should also be able to live a good life, right? So, I mean, and that's basic for us also in the industry. I believe that young people bring tech savvy ideas, research informed practices, and energy for growth. That drive that you need, young people still has a lot to gain. They want a better life. The drive for the industry is there, and I would say young people are lazy. Lazy in the sense that, when a lazy man wants to get things done, he looks for the fastest way to do it and look for the easiest way to do it. And so that way, with that kind of mindset, you want to look for the best and fastest possible way to get stuff done. And that you can get from young people. And without youth involvement, the sector will age and stagnate. I mean, for us in Nigeria, I've seen the average age of the farmer in Nigeria to be around 46. And so if you had 10, 20 years to it, that age bracket would be out. And the trend is now that less than 15% of those population, of the entire population of farmers, are young people. And so even if these guys fade out now, how do you get the recruitment to be able to cover up for the gap that they will leave in the business? From graduate to aquapreneur, you don't need a big farm to start. You need a big vision and the right network. For what it is, we do not. I mean, everything that must grow big must start small. Start small. Starting small may mean that you work with somebody else. It may mean that you work with an organization that you believe in their cause. And many of the times, what we have seen is that young people always come for the money first, and that is the wrong entry point into the business. The first thing you acquire is knowledge. Uh, Knowledge will compound. The experience you gain on it will compound. Imagine now that I'm boasting of 12 years in the industry, something that started in the university, and now we're talking about owning and running a fish health lab in Nigeria. I mean, it didn't fall on me like ripe cherries. It happened because of the consistency with the industry and staying there. Even when the payment was very low, you are working with a system, you are earning as low as a very, 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 very less than 80,000 naira a month. And talking about experience, I gained a lot of it working on the field, and that's basic. Something you need. It will be something you are going to live to remember, and it will strengthen your convictions to say, okay, I've seen this work like this. I've not seen this one work, and then you can drive from there. Start from where you are. Farm management services, value chain analysis, data collection and reporting, and post-harvest processing, production branding. And I mean, we need people in the industry now who are. I discussed something with somebody. I think one of my friends in the industry was like that. We need other disciplines like accounting, like computer scientists. We need mechanical engineering or agricultural engineers to collaborate with the industry to be able to come up with innovations that can drive a lot of this progress that we're designing. Now, you would find somebody doing a project in engineering that is to benefit a fish farm, and there is no fish farmer on that project. There is no aquaculture professional on that project. And it's best to put the right pegs in the right holes. Even at the lab, we have veterinarians who work with us. We also have microbiologists. So it's not like we are just fishes and aquaculture guys on the team. So you have to build the relevant teams to be able to drive the kind of progress we're looking at. Our vision at Reed Agri Limited, I mean, that's the mother company of Reed Labs. We're bridging the diagnostics and health gaps. And that's the problem we have identified and we've decided to solve. We're empowering youth through the research and development center that we run now, working with farmers cooperative in Africa, especially in Nigeria, to provide affordable, timely fish health services. It's still very new. I mean, the architecture is weak, like I have mentioned earlier. But what we have done is that we have been able to educate our farmers to see how important it is. We have been able to show the numbers, how that farmers are losing money to misdiagnosis or misuse and overuse of drugs. Um, we're supporting hands-on learning for students and graduates. I mean, a lot of young people in Nigeria have not even seen what it is to work in an efficient lab. I mean, and for the many of them that come for internship, they usually get surprised that okay, this is what is causing this disease, and I can actually see this pathogen on the plate. And when we apply antibiotic sensitivity testing, we get the solution to solve the problem. I mean, it's amazing for to a lot of them, and I see the excitement on their faces each time they finish their internship. Okay, so the real challenges and the real opportunities. Wherever you have many challenges, you have a lot of opportunities. Wherever you have a Wherever you have challenges, you have a lot of opportunities. I'll say that again. Wherever you have many challenges, you have a lot of opportunities. Diseases are rising, right? We see a lot of zoonotics, we see a lot of pathogens that are causing disease. And the funny thing is that you can collect a pathogen sample from a water body in farm A or from a fish sample in farm A and in farm B. You would have, say, Aeromonas hydrophila in both farms, but the antibiotic sensitivity result is different. So, for example, farm A, the solution might just be maybe aerofloxacin. In farm B, the solution might just be penicillin. You never can just tell. So that a farmer used it and it worked does not mean it's going to work on your farm. And that's the peculiarity of our own set of assignments. Feed prices are unbearable. So where are the innovators? Those like Pelumi now is into uh, fish nutrition, and I've been discussing with him that look, let's look at nutrigenomics. Let's look at um, also managing. I mean, a lot of farmers worry too much about crude protein on the feed, and forgetting that it is not really about crude protein. It is about amino acid profile, about the digestibility of the choices of raw materials you are using for feed production. And so those are basics. Farmers don't know that. They just go to the supplier of the feed, look at the crude protein level and say, give me the one that has the higher crude protein. Whereas at every stage, you require a specific type of crude protein and the choices of raw material. If you want a very good raw material, the feed is not going to be cheap. And so, but the production performance, the quality of flesh is also a major issue. And farmers are tired. Where are the new generations of fishpreneurs? Farmers are very tired of running businesses that is not, the margins are low. So we can complain or we can build. We have a choice to make right there. Yes, so there are a couple of career paths, and I've given, and this is just a few. There are many more. If you assess the value chain, you can see the opportunities there. But from where I stand and from what I have seen in the past decade, these are the major fundamental areas that we should look at. Employees and entrepreneurs. Uh, we still have a lot of gap in employee network for African aquaculture. Young people don't want to start the job that is not going to pay well. The farmer is not making money to pay the young people. So uh, employees and entrepreneurs. I use the word entrepreneurs because there are some people who are employed by the organization that are part of the business. They are the one driving the innovation. They have taken the business as their own, and so as such, the some of the employers have also seen that this person is promising, and you can start talking about partnerships within the organization. You're on the payroll, but not just to earn salary, but also to be part of the management of the business, and that's also one. The second one would be service providers. You can create a solution, you can fill a gap, you can earn while learning, you can develop your own platforms, your own system to be able to do that. Then the number three would be entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs like us building businesses for the industry. Yeah, I must tell you, it's not a joke to be an entrepreneur, except you are not interested. To be an entrepreneur in Nigeria, especially in Africa, is not something that it's not a child's play. Many things will work against you, but you have to develop the grit required to sustain that. So this is another career path. You can be an entrepreneur, but my advice would be that you should be an employee before you become an entrepreneur. You should be an employee. I mean, if you cannot learn, you cannot earn, and so that's basic. Then I also see another potential in policy development and policy framework for the industry. In your respective nations, you should also be part of the technocrats of that industry, of that country. Build relationship with your legislators. I saw something in Nigeria now that is ongoing about setting up the microbiology council in Nigeria to be able to regulate the operation of microbiologists in the country and also license some microbiology labs. So these are fundamental information that you must have about your country. Don't go about fighting the government of your nation. You have a responsibility to work with the government of your nation to be able to drive. If you, I mean, I have a word, I have a saying that you have to do something about the things you complain about. You have to do something about the things you complain about. If you keep complaining that your government did not do this, the government did not do that, what are you doing? I mean, I watch a lot of my peers, those who were working on certain projects or one project or the other in our countries. You will notice that these people are not the complainers. Complainers do not see, they don't solve problems. They only complain. They are critics. Critics are good, but I mean, if you're a Christian, you would know that Joseph saw the interpretation of the dream, and he was the one that made the first recommendation on what to do. If you are able to see the dream, you are seeing the challenges, you must also be able to provide solutions to it. And talk is cheap. When you get to implementation of stuffs of projects, you would understand how difficult it is to implement some. What you must build, and this is also important, you must build skills. And the business of animal farming, fish farming, is that you must understand the technical side and the business side. You need that those two legs to stand very well on the floor. You need to understand the technicals of the business because it is science, and you must understand the business intelligence component, knowing what to do with numbers, how to apply those numbers to making decisions on the farm. Number two would then be reputation. You have to build a reputation for excellence. Let people know that when you do something, you do it well, and that is fundamental. If you are doing it, if it is not going to be done well, do not do it. Excellence is a trademark. People can notice, they would know that when this guy does stuffs, he's going to do it well. And build networks, collaborate, not compete. I say that with a lot of young people. You are doing something because you saw somebody doing it. Instead of you to collaborate with that person doing it, build a relationship. I have a couple of my friends now building tech innovations in aquaculture. We have found a way to say, okay, brother, let's look at where we meet. I don't have to invest in this app if you are doing it. Can we find a way of having striking a partnership and build using our workforce to do this together? And of course, that's because we have a common values. There are people who also you must have common values with. If this person is not somebody you can go with, then of course there's no collaboration there. But you cannot entirely tell me that there are no people to collaborate with. Those people who aligns with your own values. The last one would be Africa is tough. and you must be tougher. Africa is tough because there are a lot of challenges here, and then the opportunities are there. I'm rounding up very quickly. This is a call to action. Join or establish cooperatives and association. This is a big one. We need some synergistic effect such that these cooperatives, these associations, maybe like we are having fish lead up now, for example, we are having it as a unification of professionals in aquaculture in Africa. So and I want to work on a project in Kenya or a project in Ghana. I have a friend to call in Ghana and say, what is the situation of things in that country? And that network would also help us to be able to have hands-on information about what is happening in those countries. I know that some countries in Cambodia, some other part of African countries lack the fisheries architecture. Some government are already talking to us from those nations to say, okay, look, is there a way we can learn from what you have done or what you are doing in Nigeria? I mean, to be able to develop our own kind of structures. And this is also some level of collaboration that we can explore. You have to seek mentorship. Like I always say, your mentor is not your financiers, not necessarily so. If you have a mentor, somebody who is doing what you want to do, or somebody who is going in the direction of where you are going, you can say, okay, I'm interested in fishery, let me talk to Reed Labs. I'm interested in production or aquaculture tourism, let me talk to Sedge Farms. This is Nigerian cases I'm painting for you. And so this is also something that we should understand. Mentorship is important. Someone said, if I see more than my peers, it's because I'm standing on the shoulders of those who have gone ahead. This is fundamental. You can see further than the person that you are standing on his shoulder if you calm down and understand that this person has arrived at this point for certain reasons. And if you climb on his shoulder, you will see beyond him. And so you must have the humility to stay there. You build portfolio of services. You learn on the field, have a diary, document stuffs, document your experiences. It will help you to be able to reflect. Your brain alone cannot carry all the memories. You need to have where your Google Drive where you keep stuffs, where you keep documents that helps you to grow. The information of a case that you saw at the lab, the information of a case you saw at the farm. These are things that will form your own portfolio, and many of the cases will not be so new to you. You have to start something no matter how small. If you are interested in the industry, no, you cannot just come into the harvest of a lot of people's work. You have to also be part of the workforce and pay the price, right? Um, I would also say think long term. Think long term. It is not a joke to build a business or build anything at all. You have to think long term. And this is important. Thinking long term really helps you to understand that there is a compounding interest on whatever thing you have given time to. There is a compounding interest on whatever thing you have given time to. Think long term and build system, not shortcuts. You have to build systems that can be repeated. If you apply it in other locations, it can almost be applicable. And so, and that's also minor, and that's a major one for us. Think long term and view things in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20, 30, 50, 100 years. Even when you are long gone, build such systems that helps whatever innovation you have put together to last and outlive you. And this will be my last slide. My conclusion would be Africa's aquaculture is waiting for its next generation of leaders. Vision without action is a dream. Action without vision is chaos. But vision with action is transformation. Will you be part of this transformation? And I leave you with that question. Will you be part of this transformation? So that by the time some of us who are working hard now to be able to put the industry in the right direction, it's costing us a lot of things. Would you join us now to build the industry so that you would also be part of the people that will be remembered for this, for that in the industry? I have a lot of professors who have done a lot of work on tilapia, on catfish, on carp. Their mark will be there. By the time those species are being cultured, you would always refer to those papers, to those publications that can be applied in the industry. Will you be part of this transformation? And so I leave you with that question. And thank you guys for having me, Eniola and Olumi. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Femi Dairu. Please drop in your chat box. I've been blessed this evening. I've received a lot. It feels as if this webinar was personally for me. I don't know how it feels for others. Please drop in the chat box what did this webinar met your expectation, or how does it feel to be hearing this? It feels like how will I put it? Hearing something you've heard before in a newer way. It now seems as if we are learning something new afresh. It's a wake up call for everyone that in the fisheries and aquaculture sector there is a space for you. Innovations are going on, technologies are being built. It is someone and some people like us, the youth of this generation, that we are expected to occupy that space. So with me and you, we can make fisheries and aquaculture greater, even not just in Nigeria, beyond Nigeria and beyond Africa, globally. We can make fisheries and aquaculture great with our impact. Thank you so very much, Mr. Femi Dairu. Yeah. Please, in case there's any questions, before we start attending to questions, please take note. There is a special announcement that is coming up after our question and answer section. There is this very special announcement that is coming up. So you want to stay tuned to the very end of it. So you won't miss that announcement. The announcement might be for you can't say. Please, in case of any question, please let's drop it in the comments. All right, please.
Yeah, I think I saw somebody, Shitu Akim, talking about the presentation slides. Definitely, we attach it to the YouTube channel, so you can always get it there. So, and I believe we have the permission of our facilitator, sir, to do that.
Yes, please share, share, no problem.
All right,
All
thank you, sir.
right, thank you very much. Please, is there any question before we go into our special announcement? Please, in the next 1 or 2 minutes, I want
All
to see
right.
in the chat box your question.
Yeah, while the questions are coming in, let me just chip in to first appreciate our facilitator. In fact, he's indeed insightful. It's great having you with us this evening, and I believe a lot of us has learned a lot. What's brought about the vision for this hub is also looking at the situation of young people in aquaculture and the fishery sector in Africa. A lot of us, we are uninterested because we don't see future for ourselves here. In fact, in the university or in the tertiary institution, there's a way they look at you when you are in school of agri or faculty of agriculture. Now much more aquaculture is a whole lot because, oh, you are a fisherman and all of that. So a lot of us look down on us, on ourselves, and a lot of people also look down on us. So we've not been able to see what is possible, how we can create a future for us in this field. And I believe tonight webinar has done a lot justice to some of these things, letting us see the untapped resources in the field in aquaculture, is left to us to position ourselves. Our facilitator made us to know that wherever there are problems, there are opportunities. So we can see the aquaculture and fishery sector in Africa is having a lot of issues. So, and this is also creating uh, a lot of opportunities for us as young people. So I believe, and that's why we are also, this session is also recorded for us to be able to go back over and over again. Maybe you are there as a young person, maybe an undergraduate or a young graduate, or you are even in the professional already and you are confused. What can I do with aquaculture? What can I do with fisheries and aquaculture that I'm studying? Justice has been done to that. All you just need to do is to open your mind and ready to learn, take up skills, and all of that, and carve a niche for themselves in the field. There is a lot of opportunities, rich opportunities in aquaculture sector and fishery sector in Africa. So thank you. I think we have some couple of questions so that
Yes, we have questions. Ajayi Kayode Israel says, how do you think tertiary students can get to have adequate knowledge about fish health and diagnosis, because justice is not being done on it in our classrooms, sir?
Okay, I'm going to respond to that very quickly, and this is a good question to ask. But I would also tell you that when I was in the university, it was even weaker. The architecture for fish health is also weaker. And there is little that the universities can do because you need enough cases to be able to say you have built an experience with fish health. But basically, the kind of we are also trying to see how we can work with academia to be able to say skilling is very important. Beyond you having a degree, skilling, be able to collect samples correctly, how to extract organs, the microscopy has to be there. These are the fundamentals that we expect that the tertiary institution release to us. You should release people who understand the basics of fish health to us. And if you look at it, we have a few professors of fish health in Nigeria and many other parts of Africa. Ghana is doing well with that, especially with one of the universities in Ghana, because the culture is species that is very delicate, like tilapia. So when they have viral cases, they don't joke because they produce in large numbers. But because in Nigeria, catfish is a rugged species, it allows you for many anomalies. And so that's why you see that it's a little weaker here. But by and large, you can also interact with the industry. Now that you have the opportunity to work with, to interact with real labs, you can start from there, especially during internship. I have a couple of interns that now understand the basics. They know how to collect samples. They know what to do in the field. They have seen a couple of cases in a span of 6 months. So, and that is fundamental. That's basic, right?
All right, thank you very much. This question came from Ajaguna Toyi. Sorry if I did not pronounce the name well. It says, why is diversity in cultured species low in Nigeria? And how can we boost other species market demand in Nigeria?
Let me answer this question very briefly. Now, we still have some knowledge gaps managing the existing species we have. We have problem with even catfish, producing catfish profitably. We have to solve that problem first. You go from the known to the unknown. If we have tried to bring in tilapia for farmers to culture, but the knowledge gap and technology transfer is not there. Even the one that we are claiming we have mastered now, we are still struggling with profitability of that business. So diversification will come when we have exhausted the opportunity we have with the main species. And so don't worry, in a couple of months you are going to see more new species coming, but you would need new set of knowledge, right, to be able to do that. Thank you.
All right. So we'll be taking this last question from Mr. Shitu Akin. He says, we need more knowledge on aquaculture. How can we create collaboration and partnership for the new fish farming?
Can you take that question again, please?
He says, we need more knowledge on aquaculture. How can we create collaboration and partnership for the new fish farming? Maybe he meant to say the new generation of fish farmers.
Okay, so for us at the lab, we are going to be working with a lot of young people going forward to develop the necessary information. And very soon, you are going to be seeing some of the participant of the app, you would see how they approach the business, and you will see the difference. Basically, I've seen it over the years. Numbers do not lie. If you have the right figures to do the business, if you keep the right data, you would be able to succeed in the business. For me, the sky is just the starting point for a lot of young people who are interested to bury their head and ensure that they learn the basics and do the business right.
All right, thank you very much. Please, I will not be attending to any more questions again. Our time is fast spent. Mr. Femi Dairo, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time here. It's a great privilege to have you on board and have you here to come and share from your experience and also your knowledge to the new generation of fish farmers. We really appreciate your time and your presence and for the impact made, because personally I gained something. What I gain is you don't have to start big before you join the industry. You can start from somewhere, start small, then from there grow big into something that makes impacts from nations to nation. So on this note, we say a very big thank you to you, Mr. Femi Dai, once again, and to the all the core team members of Fish Lead Up. We say thank you for bringing this up, and to our viewers and our members, thank you very much for joining us. So to our big announcements. To our big announcements. We all know that fisheries. Okay, let me start. Next month, we're also having our webinar as well. No, it's our monthly theme. Our November webinar series will come up on the 15th of November. On the 15th of November, which is being themed as Building a Thriving Career in Fisheries and Aquaculture. Insight from Global Experiencing by Dr. Stephen Reshley, Associate Professor, Mississippi State University. So we're having someone with experience and someone that is also in the field also. So you don't want to miss it. So go to your calendar this night before you sleep. Mark on the 15th of November. Something big is gonna happen that day. So it is most likely we have another webinar that same November on scholarship application, since the other one will be coming earlier. So once our facilitator gives us the feedback, we'll surely pass it across through our social media platforms. So in line with our mission to empower young people in fisheries and aquaculture, Fish Lead Up will be sponsoring the registration of at least three students to attend the upcoming fisheries conference in Futa. Yes, that's Federal University of Technology, Akure, to mark the World Fisheries Day. Yes, to mark the World Fisheries Day. World Fisheries Day is coming up next month, November. So I believe most of us here we are someone that of fishes and aquaculture. So that day is going to be a celebration gala for every one of us. But we are Fish Lead Up has taken it upon itself to sponsor at least three students. So I encourage everyone by the time the application is out. So this is it. Okay. Okay, we also invite kind-hearted individuals, industry leaders and stakeholders that you really wish to sponsor, because when we have more sponsors, we'll be able to do more than the three that we have in mind to do. When we have sponsors, we'll be able to do that. So willing individuals should kindly reach out to any of our social media channels or through our email at fishleadup@gmail.com. So that's our official email, fishleadup@gmail.com, or you can reach out to us through any of our social media handles. So we'll surely be there to receive you openly. And all members should do well to be active on WhatsApp. Yes, on our social media channel. That is one of the criteria we are going to be using to select the people that will be sponsoring. So we are not just giving it to ghost members. We are giving it to the active members, the people that are intentional about Fish Lead Up, the way Fish Lead Up is intentional about us. So it's just a tip. As from today, you try to be engaging in the group and all social media channels. Don't worry, we see you, we see everything that is going on. Also, yeah, and also yes, we are having the face of the week this week that we started. We have one person, the face of the week, in the person of Ajadi Favour Oluwafemi. Congratulations to Ajadi Favour Oluwafemi. He is our face for the week. He's an undergraduate, a 400 level student of the University of Ilorin. So he will be our face for the week. So don't worry, throughout this week you'll be seeing most of his pictures. And that is due to his engagement on our social media channel. We did not just pick him randomly, but we pick him because we see him. We see him. He has been engaging on our WhatsApp channel, on our social media handles. Yes, he has been engaging. So do well to be engaging on our WhatsApp group. Yes, we have a WhatsApp group which we all belong to. Please do well to engage because it might be you next week. You can't tell. So we'll be having in person of Ajadi Oluwafemi Favour as our face of the week. Don't worry. The graphics is going to be dropping. It's going to be dropping in the group this week, of course, because it's the face of the week. So we have to be seeing his face throughout the week. He's the representative for the week. So that is all the announcement that we have. So applications for the sponsorship will be coming out this week. Do well to look out for it, eager for it. It might be you, you might be the lucky one. So make sure you follow all due process and protocols. You don't expect to skip one step and magically it occurs to you. No. Make sure everything that is being said to be done, please do it diligently. Undergraduates are encouraged to advise. Yes, undergraduates are encouraged to apply. Sorry, to apply. So that will be all for our announcement. So thank you very much. It's an honor for me being the moderator of today. Sorry, I did not introduce myself. I'm Eniola Fadidi, the program lead of Fish Lead Up, and I was the moderator for today. So thank you all for joining. Mr. Pelumi, do you have anything to say for us? Tell us.
Yeah, I think that's all we have. I will just make some few emphasis on the activeness on the group. So that's very, very vital. Once the form is out, you will see that's one of the criteria. And we hope that more opportunities are coming. We are trying to build partnerships with organizations in Nigeria and international organizations to get funding for our programs, for training, hands-on training, and also we have partnerships already with some existing farms, just like Search Farms, and Read Labs and some other places where we can do trainings. We just need few things to put some things in place. So when these opportunities begin to come, one of the things we put in consideration is your activeness in our program. So we have diverse social media platforms. We are on LinkedIn, we are on Facebook, and we are on Instagram. So let's engage with this platform. Also on the WhatsApp, you can share our links with whatever we drop, share it with your schoolmates, your classmates. Even if you are a graduate, share them. You still have links to those institutions and also on your status. So you must show interest in us by identifying with us. So all of these are very, very vital. For I see some comments on those who are not on our WhatsApp group. There was a time our form was out, but you can message. I put my WhatsApp phone number or that of the recruitment lead. So if you message us, we'll tell you what to do for you to be added to the group for our WhatsApp community. So, and also on the application, definitely the team are working on it, and the link will be out. And once it's out, it's going to be there on our social media platform on our page. So you need to follow us and you need to be active. So I want to say again that thank you so much for taking time to be part of tonight's webinar. And I believe you've gotten value for your time. And don't let all of this just stay here. You can go over the recordings over and over again and find a means to carve a niche for yourselves in the industry. The aquaculture and fisheries industry in Nigeria, in Africa, and even all over the world is rich. So all you need to do is to sell yourself out, to learn, to acquire skills, and also to position yourself. So I want to say again that thank you so much for being part of tonight's webinar. So I look forward to the upcoming one in the month of November. We'll be having the person of Dr. Stephen Richley from Mississippi State University, who will be with us. And most likely at the end of the month, as that one will be coming on the 15th, at the end of the one month, we are likely to also have one of our person in the US, Auburn University, who is also offering he's doing his postdoc. So he has acquired many scholarships across the world. So to also have to speak to us on how to maximize, scholarships, opportunities, and graduate opportunities outside there. So just watch out on our platforms and engage actively. Thank you so much, everybody. And to our moderator, I will say thank you very much, Ma, for your availability and all you do for Fish Lead Up. So I will just say, everybody, have a wonderful night rest. See you on our platforms and also during the upcoming webinar. Thank you so much.
All right, have a wonderful night's rest, everyone.
Yeah,
See you in our next webinar.
yeah, see
Thank
you.
you.